To discuss how the specially abled can be further empowered in India and the rights secured, we are joined by Dr. Anil Aneja, Vice President, All India Confederation of Blinds, and T.D. Dharewal, former Deputy Chief Commissioner on Disability. I welcome you both to Newsnight. I'll begin with you, Dr. Aneja. On do you think there is a greater sensitization that is setting in as far as the government is concerned, especially towards those who are specially abled, given the fact that recently 10 new or revised schemes were announced by the government, and today Sugamya Bharat Abhiyan has been rolled out?
Certainly. I think with a revision of a number of schemes which were rolled out earlier but were failing in implementation, the revised rollout of those schemes, and particularly today the rollout of the Accessible India campaign would bring on the forefront issues concerning persons with disabilities, which I do hope would further translate on the ground in terms of better facilities, more sensitization, change in attitude, and greater inclusion of such persons in society and in their workplaces. So we look forward to a positive future after nearly 20 years of the promulgation of the PWD Act, which was in 1995. A bit too late, but a very good start.
Okay. Now, Mr. Dharewal is unable to join us, so we'll continue with you, Dr. Aneja.
Sure.
There is a bill that is in the works, and that is the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Bill 2014.
Yes.
It is pending parliamentary approval.
Yes.
And an attempt is being made to make amendments to the present law that you referred to. Do you think that this bill, once it is enacted, will do more justice to rights of the disabled?
But that is what is the hope of the sector, because India had signed the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities way back in 2006. This was ratified by the Indian Parliament in October 2007, and it is in force in India as in some other countries of the world, many other countries in the world, since 3rd May 2008. Now, it was hoped that after making an international commitment by the signing and ratification of this convention, our laws would change, and the change began very early. The process of change began early in 2009 and 10. Unfortunately, the process has not been completed so far due to a lot of nuances that the sector, the disability sector, has found in the draft, and the sector has been agitated against those nuances. To some extent, the Standing Committee has come forward to address the concerns of the sector, and our concerns have been heard, and certain shortcomings which we found were detrimental to the complete empowerment of persons with disabilities have been redeemed. But still there are issues even today which need to be addressed. Some certain provisions which we do not agree, and we would oppose. But we do hope in the period time to come, we understand that in the winter session this bill would be introduced, and if that happens during the discussion in Parliament, we hope those issues also would be heard and suitably addressed.
Okay, and how big a challenge is the social stigma and exclusion that is associated with the specially abled, and how much does it come in the way in creating an enabling environment for them?
That, Munmun, in my view, is the biggest challenge. Even when there was no Persons with Disabilities Act, there were no ordinances, it was seen that those persons who met with a socially conducive environment, people who had positive attitudes, were able to move forward, and I'm talking of persons with disabilities. But those who did not have the good fortune of meeting such an environment, meeting such people, had to suffer a lot in terms of their social progress, education progress. So you may bring out any amount of laws, you may have any amount of policies, you may give any amount of technology. Ultimately, if people do not accept as a person with disability as a normal person, as a human being, either he is superhuman, he or she is superhuman, or he is other, special, different, and so on and so forth. It was just said in the news some time back that words matter. Words indeed do matter. But words should be such which brings you into the mainstream and do not make you above the mainstream also. I mean, that's a very dangerous tendency to make you as divine. But at the same time, these should not make you so special that one feels excluded in society. So social attitudes are very important. These are changing with the spread of education, more visibility through channels like yours, which are trying their best to now foreground the concerns of persons with disabilities and bring in a mainstream news program like this one.
Okay.
Yeah, but definitely it will take time. It's
Okay.
not going to happen
Dr.
overnight.
Aneja, in the developed world, if you look at the employability of persons with disabilities, it is in the range of 30 to 50%.
Yeah.
However, in India, that percentage is as low as 3%.
Yes.
What more can be done in terms of skilling such people, training them, having special teachers, having special schools, having books that help the visually challenged and the hearing impaired in order to empower them in the real sense of the term?
Okay, one is education of more resources. I think that's what we are very much required, because considering the quantum of persons we need to educate, I'm talking of persons with disabilities now, the quantum of persons we need to train, the resources which are allocated by the government are minuscule, and that needs augmentation. Secondly, we need to make certain provisions relating to education and employment of persons with disabilities so mandatory that any violation of these should be a punitive offense. Till we bring out, we introduce that element of punitive offense, people are, even today, even some government organizations and government agencies find ways to scuttle in the provisions of reservation. Some government schools are not able to provide braille books in institutions for visually impaired, and so on and so forth. Most government schools even today, after 20 years of the PWD Act, are not accessible.
Absolutely. Currently in the bill, though, there is a provision of an imprisonment of 6 months.
Yes, they are trying to do that, but I think more needs to be done in that direction.
Okay.
And we need to bring out persons with disabilities out of their homes, because family resistance is a major challenge.
Okay.
Families do not want their person with disabilities to be children to be shown to the world, which is also.
And there are so many success stories. Stephen Hawking is one of them, and there are so many closer home as well. But Dr. Aneja, today the finance minister suggested that accessibility of the disabled or the differently abled or the specially abled, as you would like to put it, should be a parameter for development.
Yes, very
Is that
true.
a suggestion that
should be a
acted upon
parameter for
immediately?
development. I fully agree. At a time when India is vying for a seat, permanent seat in the Security Council of the United Nations, we want to be seen in the category of the developed countries. We believe in the sector, disability sector, that we cannot call ourselves a developed country till our social index, development index is high. And that index can only be high when the concerns of persons with disabilities are fully addressed. So I think that development should be seen now in social terms, where the development of persons with disabilities would have a very key role to play rather than in economic terms. And I fully agree with the Honorable Finance Minister in this respect.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank
Anil
you
Aneja,
very
for
much
speaking
indeed.
to us on Newsnight, and all the very best to you. Your
Thank you.
enthusiasm is really infectious, I must say that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.